Hey, what's up, 8th grade? How we doing today? All right, so we are pretty much equation champions now. 5-step equations, which is pretty cool that you guys can solve those now. This is all the steps, and I have simplified it so it's not a whole bunch of words now. I made this simplified version, parentheses, like for like terms, variables on one side, add, subtract, multiply, divide. So that's it. You can solve every equation with that. Eventually, we're going to learn about some unique equations, but this is the gist of it. So we're going to just do a few together, make sure we can go through all 5 steps. Some of the equations don't have every step, but as long as you go in order, take your time, watch your negatives, always watch your negatives, you'll be fine. All right, so we'll take a look at one. All right. This time, you're not going to see -1. All right, so here's a big, long, at least 5-step equation, okay? It's got a little bit of everything in there. It's got parentheses, it's got some negatives, it's got some like terms, variables on one side, everything. It's got everything, right? So we'll start off with that first step, parentheses. Don't forget, and I want you guys to start doing this when you're showing your work. By the way, all work turned in has to show your work. You got to draw your line, you got to write out your equation. If you just give me a bunch of numbers, I'm going to start taking points off, okay? I need to see what you're doing. Plus, if you get it wrong, I can give you 3 out of 4 points if you did most of it right. So please show all your work, all right? So we're going to have less equations, but we're going to start seeing longer equations, all right? So start off with our parentheses. Draw your arrows. Makes your life easier, right? 2 times m is 2m, and 2 times 3 is 6. Write out the whole rest of your equation. So don't try to do more than 1 step at a time, because you'll end up making a mistake. All right, so we want to do one at a time, all right? So parentheses are gone. Like terms. There's no like terms on this side. One's an m and one's not. And I am going to put the 1 there, because that's a 1m, right? But on this side, we have a 2m and a -4m. Circle that minus with it, right? And combine those two together, we get -2m plus 6 equals -1m minus 24. Okay, so there's no like terms over here, there's no like terms over there. Now we're going to get variables on one side. Now I've taught you guys to get rid of the 1 on the right. So when you get rid of this -1m, it was just at -m, but I put a 1 there. So we're going to add 1m. Notice I did not add it to the 6. Okay, so those are gone. -2 plus 1 is -1m. Right? Now we're getting down to 2-step equation. We got our variables on one side. Now we're doing the adding and subtracting. Same signs, we add and keep the sign. 24 plus 6 is 30. We keep that negative sign, okay? Those are gone. -1m, all right. So now we're going to divide by -1. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. Now when we add and subtract, we keep the sign, but a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that's +30, m equals 30. All right, so a long equation. The hardest things, as always, are the negatives, okay? So just keep an eye on those. Everything else should be fine. Let's look at another one. Okay. Always start off drawing our line, cut our problem in half. Okay, parentheses. I don't see any parentheses. So in this one, we're skipping the first step. Go to look for like terms. These are unlike terms. One's an x and one isn't. Here's our like terms, the plus 3 and the minus 24. Now to combine those, we got to think back to the negatives. Different signs we subtract. 24 minus 3 is 21. And this one's stronger number, so we're going to use that sign. Okay, so we got rid of the like terms. These are unlike terms, those are unlike terms. Get your variables on one side. Right? Those are gone, canceled out. Two-step equation. Those cancel out. One-step equation. 5 times x, we do the opposite, divide by 5. X equals 5, right? So just look for the steps, take your time, do your best, and then starting tomorrow, we're going to talk about the special equations, the weird ones, okay? By the way, these all have, they only have one solution. I mean, like, can an equation have more than one solution? Well, yeah. Remember we learned these? X squared is 36. You find the square root of each side. Those cancel out. We get x equals 6 or x equals negative 6. So this one has 2 solutions. All right, so far they could have one solution or 2 solutions. And tomorrow we'll learn about ones that either have no solutions or have infinite solutions, which means every single answer is correct. Any number is correct. And that sounds weird, but I'll show you how that works, okay? All right, so that's it for today. Have a good day, 8th grade.